Hi, I'm Renarta Clanton Moyd. I'm a communications specialist with the Cumberland County Schools and your host of Get Connected. During this monthly show, we highlight numerous educational topics that face today's student, educator, and parent in the Cumberland County Schools. Now, do you know how many languages are taught in the Cumberland County Schools? Well, there are 6: Arabic, Mandarin Chinese, French, German, Latin, and Spanish currently being taught in classrooms across the system with hopes of culturally and globally connecting our students to this ever-changing world. Now, after this break, we'll talk with 2 educators from the Cumberland County Schools about the numerous efforts being made to help our students become proficient in a second language on this edition of Get Connected.
Horseradish. Is that for horses? Remember me, Mr. Lobster? From last Tuesday? Banana. 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 Here comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat?
Say John.
That's right.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
So, Malcolm, you do know that energy savers last 6 times longer than ordinary light bulbs.
This isn't my room. It's Baron Davis's.
Baron Davis, the basketball player? This is his room?
Yep.
Interesting, because we have Baron Davis right here. Baron, do you live here?
No.
I don't mean that, Baron Davis.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
Again, thanks for joining us for this edition of Get Connected, where we're talking with the kindergarten through 12th grade world language curriculum specialist, Carmen Villalobos, and the principal of the Cumberland International Early College High School, Lavette Alston. Carmen, Lavette, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Great to be here. Thank you for having us.
I'm glad you all are here. Now, both of you have backgrounds in the languages.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to me a little bit about that. Carmen, first, let's start with you.
Well, I started teaching with the Department of the Army many years ago. And then when I was teaching, then they asked me, do you want to be the curriculum specialist? So at that point, I added like 13 different languages with Department of the Army. And then I moved to school, and where I taught at the high school level, Spanish from level 1 all the way to AP. And then now I'm doing the curriculum specialist job.
Now, your native language
It's Spanish.
Is Spanish.
Yes.
And your home is
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Okay, all right. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
You've been here for a while, though.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Now, with you, Lavette, your background as far as the languages are concerned.
I speak Spanish. I studied and majored in Spanish when I was in college and taught in the middle school and high school levels before I went into administration. And now I'm at the International Early College where we teach Spanish, of course, and also Mandarin Chinese and Arabic.
Now that's good. And you know, when you mention what you teach there at your particular school, my mind goes to what's offered at our elementary levels, our middle and our high schools. What languages are offered?
At the elementary level, we offer Spanish and Chinese and Mandarin Chinese. Okay. At the middle school, we offer Mandarin Chinese and Spanish, French, and Latin. Okay. In some schools, not in all the schools.
Okay.
At the high school, then we have just the sequential languages, and those are Arabic. We started this year with that. Chinese Mandarin, French, German, Latin, and Spanish.
Now, when I hear this, I'm thinking, okay, who's teaching this? Are they native speakers, or tell me who's teaching your classes?
Well, the Mandarin Chinese, they're all native speakers.
Okay.
The Latin, they're not native speakers, but they have been teaching for the longest and they have experience. They were able to travel overseas and practice their language skills before becoming a teacher. The German teacher, she used to be a French teacher, but her native language was German, so she had the opportunity this year to start German. So that's unique. The French teachers, most of them have experience overseas, so we can consider also native speakers. The Spanish speakers, I would say 99% of them are native speakers.
That's good. Now, some people that are watching the show might say, well, why is that important? Why is it really important for our young people to have this particular skill under their belt?
Well, I think that being bilingual or proficient in a second language in this day and age is extremely important, because we are dealing with a global society, and we're preparing our students to be 21st century prepared and be able to compete with people from across the world. And in order to do that, they need to have another language under their belt.
That's good.
And now that you mentioned that, it's very important, because if we want to compete, she said, there's always a dilemma of how many languages do we teach? How many years do they need in order to be proficient? While in Europe, they have 57% of the high school students are proficient in their native tongue and also in another language, compared to the US, that is only around 10%.
So we've got a lot to do,
Yes.
a lot of work to do. Now, do you find that in the Cumberland County schools, we're kind of leading the way in North Carolina as far as the number of offerings?
Yes, I think we're moving in the right track. I think we can add a couple of more and probably start at an early age.
Now, when you say add a couple of more, I mean, what other languages? I know there are a huge number, but what other
For
languages?
some more strategic languages, right? Portuguese will be Japanese.
Turubão.
Okay. Will be some languages that I think will be beneficial also to prepare again the students in the 21st century.
In our international early college, this is our first year, and we're going to be starting our second year, but we are the first international early college in the state of North Carolina. And so Cumberland County is doing big things to push our students to be 21st century prepared and globally competent. So it's a wonderful opportunity that we're able to start and be the first in the state to have these international programs where we're expanding the students, that we're just giving them more opportunities.
Now, you know, Lavette, some of our viewers may not be familiar with the early college high school concept. So kind of explain to them the concept as it relates to the language embracing.
Well, the early college program is one where, while our students are attending high school, they also go to college and get college credit for free that's paid for by the state, and they're able to either get an associate's degree or get transferable college credit. So our students at Cumberland International have the opportunity to earn up to 60 free credit hours of college courses. Our international piece is the diplomacy. Our students come into the school taking a cultural studies course where they're able to learn about different cultures across the world and how they interact and compare to the United States. And we try to incorporate those international topics and themes throughout our curriculum. We have many different programs, and we try to have as many real-world experiences for our students, not only in the academic realm, but in that international piece, so that they're learning also how to get along with people wherever they may be.
That's great.
I think one of the ideas behind that international concept was to mirror what we have in the nation. We have also, like, when you go and think about how they all get together to discuss the UN, the same model, like the students get a chance to go ahead and participate and be active, engaged, not just in the language, but also in the diplomacy area.
That's great. That is really great. Now, something that you mentioned, Lavette, you talked about culture. And I remember an article that Carmen wrote for our employee newsletter. You said in the article you wrote, and this was a quote, and I want to read it so that I make sure I get this right. It's from National World Language Educator Buffy St. Marie. It said, "Language and culture cannot be separated." Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, language is the part of the communication, but behind the communication comes the culture. That's how people perspective, their practices, how they behave, what they do daily. So if you're just going to learn the concepts of the language and you leave the culture separated, then you're not getting the real picture of what a language the benefits of learning a language.
And really, I guess the culture brings the language to life.
Yes.
And that's what I was just going to say. That's what makes it exciting for the students. They love to be able to see that relevant, real world aspect, and the culture is what brings it all together. And they enjoy it, they love it. We try to do as much of that cultural portion along with learning the language, because like you said, it brings it to life for them, and it's able to let them relate, to be able to see how this is like us here in the United States, or how we are different, and how I can interact better with people from wherever. So I think it's interchangeable. It's very important to be able to have that mix of, yes, I'm learning how to speak a language, but I'm also learning how to interact with a culture.
Well, it's creating real life learning situations. That's what is going to be meaningful, and that's what the kids are going to remember. I think some people take languages for the longest in high school or college, and you ask them, what do you remember? They might not remember all their language communication part, but their culture is.
You do remember the culture, because you know, when you say that, I even think about when I was taking Spanish in high school. The one thing that sticks out to me, I remember a few words, but the fact that the teacher had us bring in Spanish foods, and I remember making some guacamole. It wasn't the best tasting guacamole, but you know, that kind of helped me kind of, you know, it brought it to life. It did. It really brought the whole, you know, the whole experience to life.
We at Cumberland International, we have international advisories, and once a month we have people who are native to many different countries to come in and do presentations to our students. And the students love to see what happens in other places, and how this fits me, how it doesn't fit me. Oh my goodness, they do the same things as we do. And so those experiences are the things that make it enjoyable for them, and they love it. They are having a good time with it.
I think it's unique because it also highlight their experiences. They, like you say, they've been able to compare, oh, but this is how I do it, this is how other people do it. So it give them another perspective that I think no other area, academic area, give them beside the languages. It gives them that thing of knowing where I come from and where I'm going and how other people behave.
Exactly. And then you get to see in that experience that, yeah, we're different, but in many ways we're the same. And, you know, and that breaks down barriers and helps form friendships and just, you know, good feelings. Good feelings. That's a really good thing. Now, you know what also I remember in that article, Carmen, you titled that article, World Languages, Heart of the Human Experience. I really love that. So I had to share that. What were you thinking when you came up with that one?
I was thinking that a human being is nothing without communication, and that's inner. So when you learn a language, you learn how to express yourself. So good feelings, that's a way to express it. If you want to go ahead and talk about your background, that's another way. So that's what I say, human experience is something that is inside you and allow you time to just share that experience with other people.
All right. Well, you know what we're going to share is a break. Is that all right? Okay. All right. All right. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Stick around for more Get Connected.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
I'm a single mother of 2 kids. I work a lot. We do miss a lot. He dropped off for a whole month. Sometimes I would talk to him and he wouldn't even turn around and look at me. I just get frustrated because in any way that I talk to him, it just doesn't go through his head. I didn't give up because there's always hope.
Give your teen the boost they need to graduate. Call 1-877-4A-KID or join us at boostup.org for tips and advice.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Get Connected. Our guests are the kindergarten through 12th grade World Language Curriculum Specialist, Carmen Villalobos, and the principal of the Cumberland International Early College High School, Lavette Alston. Now, we're discussing the numerous efforts being made in the Cumberland County schools to help our students become proficient in a second language. Now, ladies, before the break, we were talking a bit about, of course, your high school. Very unique, and it, like you said, the only one here in the state. So I know that that's an opportunity for the older student.
Yes, it is.
But now there are a lot of foreign language opportunities for our younger kids, or younger students rather. Talk to us a little bit about that, Carmen.
Well, we have two different type of programs at the elementary school. We have the FLES program.
Now, FLES.
FLES. FLES is an acronym for Foreign Language at the Elementary School.
Okay.
Okay. And then we also have the immersion program. There's a different, both of them start at early age, while the FLES program is usually like 30 to 45 minutes twice.
Week?
No, it's like 2 times or 3 times a week.
Okay.
And that one is more proficiency oriented, based on communication rather than grammar structure.
Okay.
So students have the opportunity to learn a lot of culture and have meaningful experiences. The other one that we have is the immersion program. That one generally started at kindergarten or sometime at 1st grade, but here in Cumberland County we started at kindergarten. Those kids have their first initial experiences all in the target language. That will be the second language. So what they will do is they start their initial from the first day all the way, the entire day, they're going to go and learn Spanish. So their concepts that they learn are all going to be in the target language.
Now, you know what? I actually had this fall, or last fall, had the opportunity to visit Howard Hall with Ms. Hill there and get to go into some of those immersion classrooms. I was absolutely floored.
It's incredible.
It is incredible to see these little people walking around speaking Spanish with no problems. And I'm thinking, and one of the kids, one of the young people rather, they asked the question about his experience. And he says, I get a kick out of the fact that I can speak Spanish better than my high school brother, my brother who's in high school. And when we go to order, you know, go to Mi Casitas or other restaurants, I sit and I just give them the order for my family because I can speak Spanish, you know. And I thought, wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I have been in some immersion programs, and the students learn math, science, English, and social studies in another language. It's just, and it's awesome, and the way that they can communicate is just beautiful. And it has brought tears to my eyes. But I'm like, look at these babies.
I know.
And you know, and they're speaking Spanish better than many people who are grown adults, and you know, those types of things. It's a beautiful program. It's a beautiful program.
The earlier that they start, the more natural it comes.
Now that's what I wanted to ask you. A lot of people will get their kids, I keep saying kids, but their children into speaking Spanish and other languages at a very early age. What is the thought processes behind that?
It's because everything, like I said, is a natural process. When they are at high school or at middle school, they start thinking about, oh, I'm going to make mistakes, or I'm going to do this. When they are at the elementary, everything is like they're receiving everything and they're producing everything without having anything that will have anything that hinder their expressions.
Wow. And like you said, you can just see it. It is just, but then some people may look at that and say, well, how does that help them when it comes to testing or to even reading? But then what I kind of noticed is when you're speaking, when the young people were there with the teacher reading, you have to really sit down and phonetically break things down so that you can understand. And I guess that skill translates.
It transfers.
It transfers when you're reading English.
And that's really true, because Spanish is my second language that I speak, and I learned English grammar better as I was learning Spanish, because you're able to break it down. You look at the linguistic side of it, and it helped me so much more so learn my English grammar, because I was learning my Spanish grammar and breaking it down and, you know, comparing and contrasting those types of things and how you use them. So it's very helpful, and it helps the students across the board, not just in that language, but it allows them to be able to look at that linguistic side of it.
I was going to add that there are many, many researches that talk about the benefit of learning a language. And that is how you transfer those skills, especially in the reading area, how you improve your reading in any other subject, social studies, even English. That literacy skills are really enhanced by learning a second language.
That's good. Well, like I said, I was extremely impressed. And I think with my little one, my daughter's a little too old, but with my son, I said I'm definitely going to consider.
Well, and in the long run, there's other things that the kids will benefit, like they will score higher in their standardized tests. So that's one thing. Their listening skills are much better of someone that is learning a second language. So there's so many benefits by just having that opportunity, and the younger they start, the greater their advantage will be.
That's great. Now, you know what, something else I know, Foreign Language Week was observed back in
in March?
In March, yeah. But now, we had a lot of activities going on during that time. Talk to us about some of the activities that our young people got to take part in.
Well, one of the things that we wanted to share with their staff and their school what was languages about. A lot of people just say, oh, it's a hard subject. Yeah. There's nothing that I can connect with. So one of our things was to create some awareness of the languages. Some of these schools were able to connect with other classes, for example, the social studies class. And they were able to teach something about a culture that they were studying in that particular class. So I think that was meaningful. Another thing that they did, they got together with the staff and the students did presentation at some of the schools.
That's great.
They have also competition of poetry and music. So also the kids' original talents or skills that they have, they were able to share and express them but in the foreign language.
And as an international school, we try to celebrate foreign languages throughout our year. In February, we had our first annual, because we're brand new, we had our first annual Cultural Connections Parent Night one evening on February 8th, and it was remarkable. Every one of our languages did presentations and skits and dances in the target languages. We had over 250 visitors there. It was just awesome to see what the students have accomplished from August, and at that point through February, they were using that language, they were speaking it, they were immersed in the culture by doing the dancing and all that good stuff. It was just a wonderful program. So we had passports that the parents were able to fill out with information that they received. So it was really wonderful. And the multicultural part of our school and what is happening in Cumberland County is just awesome, because you're trying to make as many people know that world language is something that is needed and it's useful, but it's also enjoyable as well.
That's good. And when you say enjoyable, I hate to cut you off, Carmen, but I don't want to venture from this. I remember getting some information about a Chinese New Year celebration. When you mentioned your celebration, I was thinking about that. I heard that was a really great event.
We have over 300 people at that event too. It was at 71st High School, and it was K-12. So the elementary, the middle, and the high school schools that are offering Mandarin Chinese were able to participate. And what we did was we do like rotation with the parents. So they have one area that was Chinese cuisine. So the parents and the kids were able to learn how to make egg rolls, but they all learned how to do that. Another one we have, it was like the tea house. They learned the connection between the tea house and the culture of Chinese. They have one that have games, and then they finalized the whole performance at the end and had a big presentation where each one had either a song or a poem or a dance that they showed to the parents. So it was really a great opportunity to display culture and language together.
Very enriching. And I understand we have summer camps as well that highlight the languages. Talk to me a bit about that.
Well, we have several federal grants, and one of the components was to add an enrichment opportunity. And we're doing that through the year as well as the summer. Every summer we're offering a week experience. It's called an immersion camp. And the students, immersion camps. The students come in early in the morning, and everything they do is like integration of language experiences. So they go in and they learn about history. They might learn about the culture. We're going to have something about science to integrate, like gardens, the Chinese garden. What is that connection with the tea? We want to go and tell them why the Chinese people are so connection with nature. So it gives an opportunity to learn beyond the classroom setting.
All right. This has just been so enlightening. You know what? I'm looking at the clock on the wall. Can you believe our time is almost up? I told you it would go quickly. I know it went quickly, especially being so passionate about what you're talking about there. But just a few last words regarding our efforts here in the Cumberland County Schools with world languages and what you see as far as where we're going on this wonderful path. Carmen?
I think we're in the right track. We're making a lot of move towards enhancing the kids' experiences with languages, because I think we're doing something unique. We're not just leaving the learning in the classroom. We're stepping beyond that and also involving the parents and the community. And I think that's the way that you can have a successful program.
All right, okay. Lavette?
Well, I think that in this day and age, second language acquisition is extremely important, and Cumberland County Schools is doing wonderful things to help all of our students to be able to reach that, which is one great thing is opening up the Cumberland International Early College. And we've had a wonderful first year as a choice program of Cumberland County Schools. Any student in the county can apply to our school, and it's just a very good opportunity to be able to get a great academic education, but also they're able to learn that second language and be proficient, and we're going to be producing those globally competent young people who are going to be able to get jobs and compete in the job market wherever they may be. So it's just extremely important.
That's good. Oh, so exciting.
I think that one of the things that are exciting is that we are creating opportunity for the kids to collaborate and understand differences and accept differences.
Exactly.
That's something that you don't learn in a book. It's just something that you live.
All right. And we're going to end on that note. That's a good one, Carmen. We appreciate it, and thank you as well.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Well, on behalf of the Cumberland County School System, we want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of our show and for giving us a chance to help you get connected. Until next time.